Just wondering what everyone is up to today. Right. Picture. There you go. We have picture. Good. Right. Play the intro. Yes. Oh, a second. I guess I should do the blurb. Vagrus. The Riven Realms is still in development, so there will be bugs, missing content, and unfinished features. Vagrus is a game that involves a fair amount of reading. It is to be enjoyed and experienced as intended by the developers. It is also a game where success is by no means guaranteed. You will probably lose everything several times before getting the hang of leading your travel company. Okay. Greetings, Celtic! How are we? What dis? It's a new one. Comitatus, an armed travelling company. It usually carries cargo and passengers across the wastelands of the continent. It can get involved in a variety of jobs ranging from trading to mercenary work. Vagrus, a venturer, a vagabond, a captain, the leader of the Comitatus.
The Riven Realms, they call it.
And I get to shut up now for like 5 minutes.
For something as rotten and twisted as our.
Though, unless you guys need me to turn up the audio any, let me know.
It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind.
Yeah, it's a tactics RPG, as far as I know.
Cradle of man.
Not a RPG, no.
Of progress and incomparable achievements.
It shares more in common with something like Darkest Dungeon, I would imagine, or like a JRPG. Small squad of characters with turn-based combat, I think.
The Emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip-mining foreign resources,
what did the Romans ever do for us?
War on several fronts.
The aqueduct.
Genocide. Eventually the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the Empire in a matter of days.
The hats gave us the idea for push brooms. I like it.
The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality and rose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the Riven Realms, now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the Riven Realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
Yeah, it definitely spells the tone, doesn't it? I really like how they've introed it. Anyway, that's as much as I've seen before. I only did it to get to the option screen to set up. So, I guess we're just jumping in blind. Okay, so what we got a few here. Build is dedicated to headshot Hummel. Oh, these must be specific, like, not Kickstarter backers, the Fig backers. Current known issues, incomplete content features, font size, button highlights, some gear and equipment provided only part of their bonuses, leader perks. Okay, so there's perk system as well into the game, companion combat traits, companion prowess window, yada yada yada. Okay, right. Well, let's see what we're in for. Nothing besides remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. From Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley, 1818. Am I clicking things? No, don't need to click any things.
Ah, yes. A Vagrus. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagrus too, are you not?
The fire is lit, yeah.
Have I seen in my long life as a vagabond? Care to listen to a story about your exquisite occupation, good master? It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
Tell us your tale, old man. At least help kill the time. I don't want any ghost stories, old-timer. I'm guessing Pilgrims of the Wasteland is maybe the tutorial mission? We need to be taught how to do this. Also, fire is lit. Let it all burn. Yes, let's presumably try this.
Wise you are, good master. My tale is of a Vagrus, such as yourself, but one whose fate was cursed and wrought with ill fortune.
So it's really weird, it's all coming through like the right channel.
10 years, maybe more. I was but a passenger, travelling rough roads and forgotten ways with this comitatus, south along the feet of the great mountains of the west. This comitatus I speak of had fallen under hard times. Perhaps it was due to imperial harassment or unfortunate decisions, or simply bad luck. Ira Franz, saint of roads, does not always smile on us mere mortals. But however it came to pass, their coin was drying up, and their opportunities seemed few and far between. One of the last chances their Vagrus saw was to travel to the remote town of Scrap Heap and spend their remaining funds to stock up.
Is this the Scrap Heap challenge?
Scrap metal. This metal could be sold for great profit over in the east and south. It wasn't a bad plan, truly, but it was not without risks either.
You know what it reminds me of? Like traveling with a caravan. It's got a little bit of a Banner Saga vibe to it. The combat, I know, doesn't. The combat is a little more 2D, 3 versus 3 type like setup, as opposed to the kind of the grid format, isometric look of Banner Saga. But the narrative, moving the caravan, is definitely got a Banner Saga vibe to it, doesn't it? Welcome to the Pilgrims of the Wasteland, a standalone story of Vagrus, the Riven Realms. It serves as an introduction to the setting and also a tutorial to the game. It behooves you to read the tutorial text and follow the instructions to gain a better understanding of how the game works. The icon can be clicked in the tutorial window to show what the section is referring to via the pointer. Note that you have to be on the right UI screen for the pointer to appear. Although Vagrus is an open world game due to Pilgrim of the Wasteland being a tutorial, it progresses along a narrow, guided path in the beginning and opens up later, after the core mechanics have been introduced. You can access the hotkey list by F11. Right, okay. So we've got 10 units of movement. Morale is steady, because morale was a thing in Banner Saga as well, wasn't it? Supplies, we've got 7 days worth of survives. Vigor is fresh, how well we can move. Cargo. We're lacking cargo. We need more cargo to make more money. On the campaign map, your Comitatus traveling company always occupies a node and moves between nodes through paths. Moving along paths costs movement points, which we've got 10 of. I guess it's cost 3, 3, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so yeah, that's the how long we're going to be traveling for, right? Moving along path movement points indicated next to the path. Every in-game day, you have a number of movement points to spend before you need to camp. To move, click on the nearby node and select Move from the radio menu. You can select the node at a farther away. The movement point cost of moving there will be calculated and the path highlighted. So yes, we've got 10 points. We can move 6. Move to scrap heap. Yes, thank you. Will cost us... Yep, let's move. Having gone ahead of the column with a handful of scouts, you watch from afar as your comitatus slowly trudges along the broken terrain, making its way south ponderously among dormant geysers. All around you, the hills smolder lazily in the perpetual twilight. Are you all right? Javik's voice resonates with the sympathy as he appears next to you on the ridge. You nod slowly, but do not look at him. You gaze lost in the distance where the ash cloaks the horizon and the towering mountains to the south and the west. You turn to your commerce. I'm presuming it's meant commerce as a comitatus, because you turn to your comms. Doesn't sound right. You turn to your comms and note his supportive smile. You and Javik have been traveling the realms together for years now. There is no person in the world who you trust more than you trust him, except perhaps yourself. I know you feel that your hands are tied, but like I said before, you made the right choice by leading us here. Time will tell, but I still have my doubts. It's a long shot, and you know it. There wasn't much of a choice, either this or returning my trading license and hanging myself. It has to work. We cannot fail like this. Thank you, but the last thing I need right now is a clumsy pep talk, even if it is well meant. It's a long shot. We're going to go with the long shot. Javik nods. True, but it's better than just giving up. The crew agrees too. That counts for something, no? It does, yes. Good to know that they still have faith in me as their Vagrus. Or perhaps they just are just as desperate as me as I am. It doesn't change a thing about our predicament, so why should I care? Let's go with this again. They do have faith in you still, Javik says. It should not come as a surprise, since you have known and travelled with most of them for years and years, some founding members of the Comitatus you could trust with your life. But you have heard stories about Vagrus who have been abandoned for less. Times being what they are, Javik trails off. With the Imperials cracking down on us independents more heavily than before, business is tough, everyone knows. They appreciate your efforts in keeping us floating. Our plan ought to give us another chance. Also, most of the story is presented through interactive text called events. Events let you make different choices at each step. Some choices can have a number of consequences, while others have various dependencies. Dependencies mean you can only pick a certain choice if you have the right prerequisites, skills, perks, characters, and so on. To select a choice, click on it or use 1 through 9 to select the choice. So there's a bit of a, Fallout, I guess, dialogue option tree if you have the right amount of luck or charisma or something like that. I don't know. Are we actually going to see stats? Guarding your camp effectively puts a strain on your guards. Okay. The plan you talked your travelling company into a few weeks ago, but with each step towards the western mountains, more and more of them started to have their doubts. Such is the way of the road, perhaps. The plan involves a desperate attempt at squeezing a low-selling price of metal out of a old contact of yours in town of Scrap Heap. Stop it. Can we actually hover over these for... No, it's just highlighting it as a place or important. It's not a... when text in the event is highlighted blue, it means you have found a codex. No, there is a codex entry. Clicking on these opens up. Okay. There you go. Yeah, okay. Codex is a collection of entries you find throughout your travels. Entries contain information about the world and its inhabitants. When you have unread entries, the crystal on the cover of the closed codex emanates light. Entries are displayed on the list to the left. You can search entries and filter them by category using the button at the top. Unread entries are marked with the blue icon appearing at the top, which already read. Okay, so yes, fairly standard fare. You can close the codex by the journey. Okay, right. Let's close you. Scrapheap. Scrapheap is a town on the edge of the Imperial territory, just north of the Molten Tongue and south of the Forest of Shadows. In the smouldering shadow of the great mountain of the west, Scrapheap rarely sees sunlight, as the skies are forever ashen and overcast. The air is hot and dry. Earthquakes are common. Most of the time, Scrapheap is engulfed in smoke and ash, and a constant reddish twilight is upon it, surrounded by a low wall. The town is indeed made of scrap and junk, mostly stone with metal scraps, as well as leather and cloth awnings. A single tower, tall tower, stands high above the town on a hill, housing a beacon that aids scavenger teams in their return, but also gives home to the Heap King. Inhabitants wear scarves and masks to aid their breathing. Wear a mask, people! Well, after the calamity, people flocked to the molten kingdom of Devnathar, formerly the homeland of the dwarves on the continent, in order to plunder any riches that remained there, especially the rare metal that is still in abundance in the kingdom, because Devnathar is now extremely volcanic and volatile. Oh, no, we can scroll down. There you go. I thought we had to flip a page. No. Kingdom volatile. The scavengers did not dare to dwell in it, only in its close proximity. Thus, the settlement of Scrapheap was born. The town is not under imperial jurisdiction because the empire never gave a damn about its existence out on the savage, barely inhabitable mountainside, and simply lets gangs and comitate gather and sell the precious metals and ore in one of the border towns. Still, some trade houses seem to sometimes set up temporary compound there, only to get robbed and driven out a month later. Scrapheap is run by the Heap King, a gang lord who's organized previously chaotic and warring work teams. It's getting very Mad Max, isn't it? Okay. So I guess all the blue ones... The calamity, yeah. So yeah, if it's blue, it's unread. We're not going to read everything. Let's move back to this. So we were going to an old contact of mine in the town of Scrapheap, stocking up on said metal by spending your remaining coin and bringing the cargo down south around the Molten Tongue to Devon via the Avernum and Ash. There is a shortage of metal in Devon, and you know several buyers who would give a pretty price for your goods if you could only make it there before many others with a similar cargo do. Such contacts are the boon of long decades spent on the road, but even if Narbo, that villain, gave you an agreeable price in Scrapheap, the road is not without its perils. Sneaking through the gap between the dead forest and the Molten Tongue is inviting disaster, so it is not a path many Vagri would risk. And of course, if this fails, you have utterly run out of alternatives. Do you think Narbo will help us? Yavek. Do you think Narbo will help us? The old scavenger was never famous for his goodwill. Yavek wonders. One can only hope. I haven't seen him in years, but we always did good business. That said, you are not sure he would remember you, or if he is still alive. Sorry, am I boring you, Celtic? If If you are not willing, you must find a way to compel him. There is no telling what would be capable of if it came to that. He has to help us out. He won't be able to pass up an opportunity to make us indebted to him. Even the thought of selling yourself out in such a way makes you feel dirty. So dirty. Where's the action? I feel like there will be some. Don't worry. Yeah, we're going to make him an offer he can't refuse. These are dark times. They call for desperate deeds. But such thoughts make me uncomfortable, to be honest, Ek rubs his chin absent-mindedly. You've seen this expression of his too often not to realize he's using his sorceress talent to read your mind. Oh, he's a sorcerer. Okay, I'm giving the wrong voice for a sorcerer. He should be a slightly more educated. So I'm going to read that again. Knowing he's now a sorcerer changes everything. These dark times, they call for desperate deeds. But such thoughts make me uncomfortable, to be honest. I was doing him more working class. He's your second in command, he gets things done. But no. Taking a peek. Apologies, Yavek rubs his eyes quickly and looks away. You know how it is. It comes to me so naturally that sometimes I don't notice I'm doing it. Your thoughts were loud, Vagrus. I have to actually block them, you see. After joining the Comitatus 6 years ago, Yavek proved to be an invaluable asset. Not only does he sense moods and thoughts around him, he's our counselor, Troy. He's an empath around him, but he is also able to subtly manipulate others when he focuses his inner energies. It comes in handy when doing business. Then there are his other perks. A few times you saw him shatter the minds of men and beasts who tried to kill him. Not a pretty sight, but a very effective deterrence. Yet, because he is not a trained sorcerer, at least not in the traditional sense, his abilities are sometimes difficult to control. Damn wild magic! You have been accustomed to his impromptu thought scans, while others find it less bearable to be around him. For this reason, he has kept his abilities a secret for many years overall, but you can't keep a secret such as this for long in the close-knit community of a Comitatus, especially not if you keep bursting minds and knowing things you shouldn't. So, there are only a handful of your comms. I'm going to have to call them comms, because calling them coms is dirty, who put up with being near him for any length of time. But even so, he has to not probe your mind in years, certainly not on purpose, but neither by accident. Perhaps he is in less control now, which suggests he is more on edge about this whole trip than he lets on. Apology accepted. You managed a faint smile. Let us return to the others and push on. There's still a day's travel ahead of us. Just make sure it does not happen again. No, we've known this guy for years. Both of you head west to join the column. Back to the Comitatus.
As we were coming up to the gates of Scrap Heap, this trash pile town of cutthroats and scavengers, we could see the vast mountain ranges of shattered Bivanda looming ominously over the horizon, half shrouded in the gaseous vapors belched forth by the volcanoes in the far west. My companions prepared to do their business in town as fast as they could, not wishing to tarry in this notorious place.
All right, soldier on. Oh, and it's... Oh, no, I thought it froze completely. No, it's just loading in the next page. At the foot of the ever-fuming mountains of the ancient Dwarven kingdom lies Scrap Heap, a town of scavengers. Debris and junk is piled into veritable hills upon which the rickety homes of the decrepit inhabitants stand precariously. Ash lingers everywhere, and the sun is almost always absent from the twilit skies. Deals are struck day and night over the precious scraps gathered in the ruins of the nearby Dvandartha, while the Heap King oversees all from his dreaded tower. Shady eyes in the soot-covered faces watch from under ash-laden awnings. Life is cheaper than iron here, some say. Track down Narbo. Can he convince him to help? When a comitatus enters the settlement, you can select from a variety of options, each on its separate pane. Oh, I guess these. Revolving around resting, resupplying, and trading. You also have the opportunity to initiate stories located in the settlement. This time only story pane is active. Follow the... Okay, so we can only click on that, right. You make your way to the Wraith's Stash, a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street just beneath the imposing tower of the Heap King. But not quite under the immense shadow. Few frequent this establishment, which makes it perfect for Narbo and his little operation of honest merchants. Apparently, the knave is not only alive, but he has done well for himself in the past decade or so. Taking only Yavik, you leave the comitatus to the care of Titus, your quartermaster, while you are gone negotiating. Ash is flitting from the black skies. You cross the streets and nod to the bouncer of the Wraith's Stash. You give him your sidearms quietly. Rules are rules, at least as long as you can enforce it. Yet, they have the courtesy of allowing you to keep your dagger, and of course, have no idea of what Yavik is capable of. Should it come to a scuffle, not that you expect such a thing, but with Narbo, one never knows. Though you have told your crew that he and you go way back, the entrepreneur is a capricious and manipulative man with whom you did not part on the best of terms. Does he remember that? Surely. Could he be persuaded to take your proposal? Who knows? Your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminate the common room. Shadowy faces turn towards you and observe you through the smoke. The bartender, a thick-set man in a dirty tunic, is chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs the skeleton of a large heap lizard on display. Narbo is sitting at a table in the back, his bodyguard half hidden in the darkness at the wall behind him. Make your way comfortably over to Narbo, walk over to the bar, sit down on one of the vacant tables. And presumably this is Narbo. That must be the one. No? What do we reckon? I think we make a beeline for him. Let's go. The entrepreneur looks up from the stack of papers in front of him and rubs his eyes. Narbo is a corpulent man with a bushy dark beard and a few missing teeth. Part of his face is covered in scars similar to those left by old burns. That's coupled with the withered, mutated left arm that hangs limply at his side is a clear indication of the taint. Just going to leave that one hanging there. The merchant wears a leather jerkin studded with small bronze and bone coins, a sign of wealth and boldness. His bodyguard, a lithe man with tribal tattoos and an outfit made of leather, moves his hand calmly to a spear that leans against the wall. Narbo's mouth falls open and a spark of recognition flares up in his eyes. No wonder. It has been 10 years. Also, this does read and feel very kind of tabletop. It's got like that D&D vibe to it, like the descriptions and that. I'm just getting that from it. The fuck, mate? He blinks. I thought you croaked, people. Narbo waves his good hand around and looks at his bodyguard. Told tales of your demise. The man finishes his sentence for him as the merchant nods vehemently. That business with Kernek outpost and the storm, Narbo adds. You tell him that you were indeed at Kernek when the terrible arcane storm struck. You described the horrors of that night briefly. You add how many of your original comitatus died there, close friends, old travelling companions. But you walked away unscathed. This was years ago. Sheesh, that fucker Aerophons looked after you something fierce, eh? Narbo chuckles heartily. But I'm sure you haven't come here to reminisce about good old times, eh? His predatory smile makes you cautious, even though he invites you to sit down with a casual wave of his meaty hand. Apologize to him for the unfortunate way you parted 10 years ago. Get down to business right away. You have no time to spare. Remind him that you do not like threats, especially not insinuated ones. Sure. Far as I can tell, you never did anything against me, eh? Narbo shrugs with a wry smile. Of course, you could have sent someone to warn us, the bodyguards. To warn us, the bodyguard finishes the sentence. Back when Narbo and you parted ways, at Vernum's Collegium, I guess that's how it's pronounced, was hot on your trails. They got offended by how you two outplayed them by smuggling a shipment of exotic spices without their knowledge and selling it into a local nobleman's merchant house. You look at Narbo and tell him there was no way of warning him or even knowing where he was after the chaos was unleashed following the heist in Avernum. You had to get your crew out of there, so you did. The merchant is fiddling thoughtfully with a stack of papers while listening to you. I appreciate you coming clean, even if this is sorry business was so many years ago, he says after a long pause. The bodyguard becomes visibly less tense. But something tells me that ain't all you came for still. So, what is it? You breathe in and take time to outline your proposition. Some choices have dependencies. Oh, okay, so yes. Here we go. Moderate, low. We can't even do that one because we need a book. Quality Narbo secrets. Okay. Moderate chance of success, low chance of success. So we have got like dice roll type actions in here, it looks like. Let's put this away. Yeah, it even says, here you go. Some choices involve tests that can be failed or succeeded with different consequences. Perks, characters, and resources can change the chance of these tests. Test difficulty is represented by a number between 1 and 100 that you need to roll equal to or below. What? Tabletop games use a percentage dice. Is it like the Warhammer stuff does, doesn't it? Powered by the Apocalypse? Does that use D100 system? But now we know. We're basically playing a D100 system RPG. Right, okay. You explain to Narbo how you want to give you a discount on a shipment of metal scraps, which you would then smuggle into Devon through contacts you have in the city's underworld. The profit on the shipment would be quite exquisite. You do not name your contact, but divulge enough of her that the plan looks solid. Buyers, you say, are lining up, expecting the shipment soon. Narbo sits in silence, eyes fixed on the table, as if listening to some noise from afar. He does not cut you off at any time during the proposition. At length, after you are done, he looks up and gives you a weak smile. That sounds like you've been thinking a long time about it, he says as he shifts in his chair. And it's a great plan, except for the part where I give you a discount for you asking and not much else. When I don't do that, mate, that would make me, what, an almoner, the bodyguard adds discreetly. That I would? Narbo looks up at him. When the man nods, he turns back. Oh yeah, an almoner, see? No almoner. I guess almoner, as in, like, giving alms? I guess that's where it's from. You know, you gotta do better than that. What you got for me? Tell him that you will be in his debt. He will make a tidy profit as it is, but you will owe him a favor. Remind him that you two used to make a great team, and this could rekindle that partnership. Low chance, yeah. Reveal that you're in a bad spot. Let him know that in exchange for his help, you can help him out with a problem he might have. Well, we don't know that. Let's go with the moderate chance of success. We're probably still going to roll low. Let's see if we actually see a dice roll. Test failed. See, I told you. I knew it. After considerable pause, Narbo scratches his beard in thought, then turns to you again. Fair enough. We used to run together. I know you are capable, but to be clear, you do owe me for this, and I'll collect. The moment you make the deal in Devon, you come back here and we share. I want quarter. No haggling that. You frown when you accept his proposal, but inside you are gleeful. That was a failure? Okay, that's going to bite us in the ass then, coming back or something. Could not have hoped for a better result. In truth, a quarter of the price is not only doable, but would leave you with enough to keep paying your crew for several future jobs. It could be a new start. Narbo instructs you to give him an hour, then look for his people at the market and simply introduce yourself. They will know what price they could give you on metal scraps by then. I expect you to return within 2 months, give or take. Failing that, you'll be hunted. Have no doubt about it. And you know that I can mobilize half the bounty hunters in these realms. When you nod, Narbo motions to his man. You and the Avek stand up and make ready to leave. Ravir here will take you to the back exit. We don't want people give people the idea that they can come here and beg for almonds. Now, do we? You go, got what you came for, so you leave the Wraith Stash through the back entrance and head back to the Comitatus. Your journal, located in the bottom left, is now active. Well, I don't see anything down. Oh, I guess it's this book. Okay. I thought it was background. Apparently not. It is your means to follow the story and tasks. Open your journal by clicking on the book in the bottom. The journal allows you to view quests, tasks, and other related information. You can search for entries, search field, and filter. Objectives are your quests and ongoing stories. Text is selected list item appears in the right. These describe the quest or task and provide you with active objectives. Unread entries have the blue exclamation point. Yada yada yada. Tasks are non-narrative missions and goals you can complete for rewards. There are several types, like trade opportunities or mercenary work, but in Pilgrims of the Waste, you can only find passengers here. Passengers have to be taken to their destination, where they will compensate you for your trouble. Be careful, because sometimes passengers will leave if they take too long to get to their destination. Qualities can be statuses, gathered information, secrets, and so on. Unread entries have blue entries, yada yada yada. Right. Wandering Old Man. Passenger. Delivering the Wandering Old Man to Ash. Can we see if we're going through or by Ash? Do we have a map? Do you have a flag? No flag, no country. Rewards. A copper? Sure. Can I click that? I'm clicking the thing, it doesn't seem to do anything. I presume we're doing this one anywhere. Wait, okay, right. The shipment. Find your contact, the scrap heap. Buy 24 scrap at the market. Have at least 800 supplies. You can buy supplies at the market as well. Okay then, so we need 24 scrap and we need 800 supplies. Okay, so 800 days worth, okay. The market pane is now active. Navigate to the market pane by clicking on the scales. Perhaps it's time to visit the Heap King, stroll the market district. Well, there's our scrap. It's going to cost us... Okay, I guess it isn't copper. 23 bros, 8 lurg, 5 changes. And the supplies are... changes? Yeah. 5 changes each. We have 700. Okay, 800. Okay, so there's 100 per day. Okay, so I thought it was going to be several. No, it's basically 100 supply per day. Market plane displays available goods and can buy at the settlement market. Opens your cargo pane. When buying or selling, buy or sell one increment only by clicking. Holding shift and clicking buy and sell buttons. Drag and drop. On shift, clicking. Right. We can drag and drop. And does it in increments of 6. Okay. You're off, are you, Kelly? No worries. You take it easy. Enjoy what's left of your day. And we will see you again soon. Hopefully soon. Can we stack these to 24? Let's see. No. Okay. And we need one of these as well. That gets us up to 800. Do we need the coal as well? Equipment. You can attach to the comitatus is sold on some markets and found throughout the travels. They provide bonuses and upgrades. You can switch between market goods and equipment using the buttons over the list. Okay. Awnings. Less consumption. Linen awnings stretched over the saddles and carts to block harmful weather effects. We can stretch that. Okay, puts it over there. Equipment you own are in the pool below the comitatus illustration. I guess I actually put it on here then. In order to gain the bonuses, you need to equip them, first by dragging and dropping them into the appropriate slot on the illustration. Equipment can only be placed in a slot that matches the type. Possibly miscellaneous, then. Oh no, we can put it on both. Let's put it on the miscellaneous, then. Items. The third type of cargo do not take up cargo space and are not equipable. They're used to trade and traded in certain events. You can switch panes in a settlement. An active pane will open a corresponding pane in the comitatus management. When you're done exploring, click the arch icon, bottom right to leave scrap heap. Once you leave, you cannot come back to the place in Pilgrims of Wasteland, so be sure you've done everything. Now we could go and speak to the big boss man. Go talk to the Heap King. What does this do? It's a tradable good. Last known buy prices. 6 and 7s. Well, that's what it's selling for here. Okay, I guess the medical supplies are the thing we could potentially buy as well. But they don't have them here. Let's go see the king. Walking up the great heap to the immense tower, a daunting task. Up on the hill, it is even more difficult to breathe than in the ash-choked city at its feet. The hot wind blows from the south. Every step is slow torture. By the time you reach the gates of the tower, your chest is heaving, and you keep coughing up soot. Before you rises the tower of the Heap King, ruler of this trash pile of a town. The whole structure is cobbled together from scrap, with lower levels covered in metal sheets. A huge bonfire of yellow-white flame burns on the topmost level, day and night, and a beacon for the scavenging teams to follow home. Looking nigh impregnable, the fortress has only one entrance. A small group of guards sneer malevolently at you as you approach. Better turn back if you have no business here, vagabond. The ranking gatekeeper says from under a mask attached to a bronze skull cap. Also, all of this is starting to croak the voice. I'm down to that much water. We want at least some action. Can we beat up the guards? Is that advisable? Probably not. You have nothing to say that would gain entry. You walk long down. Ask them where you could inquire about an invitation. Perhaps you could try licking my asshole and see where that gets you, one of the guards says loud. Loud enough for you to hear. A round of applause and guffaws follows. The ranking guard does not laugh, but does not reprimand his man either. My duty is to stop anyone without official business to enter, not to educate them where to get a pass, he says and walks back to the others. Nothing will change their minds. You walk down the hill. Well, I guess we're leaving. I don't know whether we can get anything from, like, the codex. Yeah, I guess we just leave. Packed up, restocked on supplies, and with all your business here concluded, you finally make ready to leave this decrepit town of scrap heap behind in the morning. I mean, we still have a little bit of cash. We could, like, on second thoughts, let's stroll to the market. Here we go. You and Yavek roam the dingy market district at the foot of the great heap upon which the tower of the Heap King is built. Ash-covered awnings and dirty stalls lie the labyrinthian streets, with the stifling narrow alleys and tiny squares adding to the general confusion. Sometimes it's difficult to tell a shop from a dilapidated home, and for good reason. Most people who live here are also merchants to some extent. And even though the Heap King's militia is there to keep the peace, you can't help but notice all the shifty gazes from deplorable types aimed at you. You recall a little shop hidden in an alley, and its owner used to peddle dwarven curiosities. Perhaps he's still there. We have a high chance on this. Okay. We rolled under the 70. Yeah, we're good. What is it? It's the Warhammer Zweihander that has that kind of rolling above me. I guess we're going to be able to tell by if there's like an advantage disadvantage type thing. Because I think the Warhammer thing, it's a flip to succeed, flip to fail, isn't it? So we roll a 21. We would have been successful regardless, because if we'd rolled to fail, it would be 12, which is still under. But if it'd been like a 29, flip that, we would have failed. I think that's how the system works. The small shop is still there at the end of the Serpentine Alley on the south side of the market district. Standing outside of it, you notice how it is much worse shape than you remember. Inside the decrepit scrap shack is an equally unkempt young fellow who hails you with a jolly smile. The shop looks empty. A short conversation reveals that the youngest is the son of the man who used to run this place. His father never came back from a forge into the dwarven ruins a few months ago. Unfortunately... These voices will be the death of me. Unfortunately, I didn't have Dad's expertise on dwarves, neither am I the adventurous sort, so by now I've sold all his remaining stock and I'm closing shop soon. Then I'm off and away from Crap Heap for good. Go south, maybe to the Dragonlands, he says, scratching his beard. You talk a bit about dwarven culture and his father's obsession with their forgotten technological wonders. You're about to say goodbye when he slaps his forehead. I still have something here that a Vagrus such as yourself might be interested in. He fishes a small brass compass out of his pocket and hands it to you. It is a masterwork, no doubt, spotting runes and detailed etchings on the side. The fellow is willing to sell it to you for a token price. Oh, we're driving a caravan. Yes, we'll take a compass. You and Yavek roam the dingy market district on foot. Great Pete. Okay, we can look at the local prices. Also, that did pop up. We have at least 800 supplies, don't we? How do we bring up our supplies thing again? just from the market tab. We were successful. Okay, after spending an hour looking at wares, you realise that there's nothing here that you would fork out coins for. Of course, there's a lot of useful things, but you want to keep the rest of your purse intact should you run into difficulties on the road ahead. Also, there's a veritable army of cut purses working the market, and though so far that you've managed to outsmart them, staying here would tempt fate too much. Time to leave. Right, so... there we go. We have a compass now as well. That's only good for selling. Yeah. Okay, let's leave the city. Packed and restocked. With all your business concluded, you finally make ready to leave the decrepit town. Spend the night inside the guarded compound, not for free though. On second thoughts, you still wish to explore. No, let's. One day. What was that? I don't know. You set out at dawn, ashes flitting from the sky, and the distant mountains rumble ominously in the morning twilight as your comitatus reaches the west gate of the town. You notice almost immediately that the militia at the gates is questioning and inspecting travellers. Move along. I'm guessing a road magistrate or something. There's missing the start of that sentence. Road magistrate of the Heaped King appears to coordinate the search effort, picking out people and even whole travelling groups for inspection. As your comitatus draws near, it takes only a passing glance from him to check you and your crew before he motions the guards to let you through. Can we click on Yavek? I think it's just indicating this is the person we're speaking to. Okay. The comitatus is well on its way, and the scrap heap is a mere dot on the horizon by the time Yavek joins you at the front of the line. Just like you said, you made it right through with this venture. Talk of how you may have saved us all is spreading like wildfire, he says with a faint smile. Of course, we do have to make it to Devon, alive to Devon, with the cargo, but it's a good start, don't you think? Agreed. There may be hope left for this comitatus. Agreed. There may be hope left for this comitatus after all, and, you know, it's in a large part thanks to you and your abilities, not mine. Let's just, stoically nod. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not like we started this business yesterday. With that, the both of you go back to your duties and the constant monitoring of the horizon. All goes well, and you should reach the wound in a few days. Oh, I guess we lost a day. Okay, so we're down supply a little, I think. If all goes well, you should reach the ruin in a few days, where you can turn south along the edge of the Molten Tongue and travel down to Avernum. Oh, morale is up as well. Well, I think that was the morale indicator, yes. No, morale is steady. Vigor is energetic. We have 7 days worth of supply. Your progress is saved at checkpoints. Whenever you leave a settlement, reach the story-related checkpoint, as well as start each in-game day. Your game is saved automatically. Useful. Manual saving is unavailable in the standalone story Pilgrims of Wasteland. In the open world, it is, though. You can load a save file. Okay, so is there going to be save scumming available? Because I feel like it might be one of those games.
With a full cargo hold and filled with newfound hope. Yet, the road ahead still promised hardships and peril. I travelled with them southwards, expecting to reach more habitable lands beyond the Molten Tongue's river of lava.
Well, we definitely want to see some action, don't we? Let's do... Well, we have 7 days supply. No, we have 11 movements. Okay, so 2, 4, 7, 10. We could literally move here in 1 day. And I think it does it step by step. So... Crew management UI is now active. Click on the sheet in the top left. Crew management window allows you to manage your comitatus. Morale is the general mood of your comitatus. If it ever drops to 1, there's a chance the comitatus dissolves and you lose the game. Okay, there might be a permadeath, like, end of game effect. See your current effects and the morale below the rating. Obedience indicates how satisfied your slaves are. Low obedience leads to theft, runaways, and worse. Be sure to guard your slaves with enough fighters and treat your slaves well, or punish them consistently to raise obedience. Nutrition. Show you how well fed your crew is. Low nutrition incurs penalties. Extra rations raise nutrition while starving your crew. Repeatedly lowers it. Vigor indicates how tired your comitatus is. Low vigor results in penalties on tests and is drastically slows the comitatus, which can spell doom quite fast. You can see the current effects of vigor below. Right. Upkeep. This is how much you owe your crew. Okay, so we're actually paying them as well. You pay them at the end of each day. So accrued is 7 of those. So we can do 4 days? Okay. 4 and change. How far are we going to be able to reach in 4 days? Keeps how much you owe your crew. You can pay them at the end of each day or by collecting debt. Okay, so we can do it through debt. Consumption is how much food your crew consumes each day. Running out of supplies leads to a quick death in the wastelands. Workforce is generally generated by workers and slaves. You have enough workforce to cover the comitatus needs, including beasts, crew, and passengers. Going below the required number bestows serious penalties. Passengers are people and the comitatus takes to their destination for reward. You can take passengers at some events and settlements. Here you can see the number of each crew beast type you have in the comitatus. Consult your tooltip for each type. Outriders are special because they you need a fighter and a mount to be able to create an outrider by using the plus button. While outriders are excellent fighters, mounts without riders carry cargo. You can also dismount fighters using the minus button. For now, add an outrider and close the window. Okay, right. 1 outrider. That just appeared. Do we know what that is? Sorcery, defense, harness, cargo. Okay. 11 slaves, which we can free them, it looks like. Liberate 1 or more of your slaves to gain obedience. Liberated slaves become workers. Note that the obedience gain has a diminishing return. Costs no movement points if you're already camping. Discipline. Butcher 1 or more of the beasts of burden to gain supplies. Okay, that's going to be a thing. So we've got 3 scouts, 7 fighters, and then workers. Cumulatively, we got 17. Nothing happens. Okay. Well, we're going to have to camp here. You run out of movement points and need to camp. Ending the day being on the road all day, spending most of your MP, lowers your vigor. Okay. You can replenish by camping. You can also camp earlier by running out of MP, which helps. Well, we haven't run out. We have 1 left. Set the camp icon. Sure. At the end of each in-game day, the comitatus makes camp and settles down for the night. Supplies are consumed and movement points are refreshed after camping. At each camp, you can decide to offer normal or double wages for the current day, independent of whether you pay them or not. Double payment increases morale. You can choose to pay all your debts to your crew at this time, pay now, or accrue payments, pay later. But the longer you delay, the grumpier the crew gets. Obedience and nutrition also appear here, as well as options to discipline and liberate slaves, workforce needs. Wow. There's a lot to start absorbing here. I'm glad we did the tutorial because, yeah. Okay. You have option to give out less or more supplies into rations, which penalizes or boosts vigor, morale, respectively. Starving your crew will have long-term negative effects on nutrition as well. Knowing we've only really got 4 days of payment and 7 days of supplies, I don't know what we're going to have to look for. Under hunting and foraging, you can send your crew out into the wasteland to find supplies and sometimes even other goods. Base chances for these activities depend on your related perks, deputies, crew, and other region you're in. You're also able to see expected yields below each activity. The cost of hunting and foraging is movement points or vigor. Well, we have 1 movement point, and we are pretty vigorous at the moment, so we may be able to go hunting. Hunting uses scouts and has a chance to get you a large number of supplies. Critical failure might kill scouts. Click on the scouts to allow hunting. Foraging is more reliable but yields fewer supplies. You can use workers or slaves. You can add them to or remove them from the activity by clicking on their crew portraits. Okay. Summary of what happens to your crew that day can be seen to the right. Vigor, obedience, morale went down. High chance of an ambush. Okay, so we definitely need our fighters around. Who are you? Got a kind of a tiefling look going on. Is this Titus? Titus was our, quartermaster. That was the only other one that was mentioned. You can talk to your companions using speech bubble beneath their portraits. Companions heal by themselves during camp. The chance of healing or worsening condition can be seen on the bar below their portraits. Using the button to the right allows use medical supplies for increased healing chances. Medical supplies are quite valuable. Use them wisely. You must also set your defenses in order for the night. More lenient defense has a higher risk of nighttime ambush and negative effect on obedience. Okay, so send out your scouts to hunt. They can return with supplies and sometimes goods as well, results in depending on hunting roll. Critical success, supplies gains multiplied. Success, supplies gained. Failure, okay. Can we see? There's a 60% chance of failure. I guess we can only send 1 scout out. Whereas the foraging... Can we do both? Sure, we'll do both. There's a 60... Okay, so there's always more chance of losing out. Failure is fewer supplies gained. Okay, but we trade 1 vigor, which we're pretty vigorous, for the chance of at least some supplies. We are playing later. We'll do full rations. Postguards, insufficient armed crew. You need 11 fighters and outriders combined, 7 with a cost of -1 vigor. How many fighters do we actually have? Let's talk to Yavek. You approach Yavek, and he is tending to one of your beasts of burden. When he sees you wish to talk, he steps away, motioning to a handler to finish what he started. What's on your mind, Vagrus? That's what he thinks of Vernum about what they can expect. Ask him about his strange abilities. Let's talk about Vernum then. Oh yeah, I remember. You haven't been there for a long time. Well, Vernum is less of a provincial town like Scrapheap these days, and more like one of the great cities of the Empire. Sure, it's not as large as Devon or Torzarg shelters. It is a busy city with a lot of people and commerce. They say that the prefect, who oversees the place, has his own private thing going on, and he is fairly easy on the crime bosses. Well, at least those who that play along. Trade from the region concentrates on Avernum, and everyone wants to get their share. No, we won't push, but we will talk to Morwen. Okay. He's discussing something with a few scouts when you approach. She sees you and steps away from her companions, joining you next to the tent in shadows. You immediately start to feel anxious, as if roused out of her torpor by Tarkin coffee. The effects of the Demon King heritage, no doubt. She is a tiefling! Though not Devilkin, she's Demonkin. Okay. Anything I can do for you? Ask what she thinks about the Comitatus. Ask what she thinks about Yavek. Ask her about her past. Let's talk about Comitatus. What I think is that if everyone does what they are supposed to, we can deal with most problems on the way. There's a moment of silence and you realize she is done talking about this. No, we're not going to push much. Medical supplies, disabled heal, assign deputies. Well, we can't do anything. Post no guards, vigor, obedience, morale goes down. Post guard, sufficient armed guards, no bonuses. You need 7 fighters and outriders combined. You have 8. Okay, yeah, let's... We're not too bothered about the vigor. 7 is well rested. That's fine. Let's have an easy first night. It was yeah, it's more or less. It's a 2 in 3 chance it's going to be a failure, but we get a few supplies. No foragers harmed. At least there was that. Right, we have 11 movements. Morale is steady. Vigor is well rested. Let's push on. No. Now we camp. I'm going to once again try for supplies. I'm actually just going to do that. Obedience and morale go down. Where is our obedience? But vigor will go up. So let's boost vigor. But that doesn't affect me. Does this affect vigor? It does, doesn't it? We lose 2 move. Still keep it well rested. Like, I'm going to give them a night off. We'll send those guys out. Fail. No foragers harmed. After a long day's march under bleak skies and harassed by hot winds, the Comitatus finally settles down in a wide ravine. After taking care of the camp chores and checking out on all your comms, you go to your tent and tuck in for the night. There are benefits to sleeping out in the wasteland. The silence is quite calming, tranquil even. Only the murmur of the distant fire-belching mountains, the whisper of the wind, and the occasional groans of your beast can be heard, except something else is making a muffled noise you do not recognize. Your eyes flick open. Something is wrong. What in Tartarus is it now? You rise to check. We get some action! Ambush! Leaving your tent and passing the sleeping beast, you are just about to call to the guard when you stumble upon a large quadruped creature covered with fused bone protrusions. It is munching on supplies scattered across the ground, evidently from a torn open sack lying nearby. Okay, so we lost a bit of supplies. Okay. The creature is Yarka. Yarka are vermin in the wastelands, bad-tempered and aggressive pack hunters. Appearance are four-legged reptiles covered in hardened yellow-brown, grown-together scales cover their backs like armor. Adult specimens are 3 to 4 feet high in maximum and 1.5 to 2 yards long. Okay, they're quite long. Okay. Thick, powerful, short legs that can propel them quite forward quite fast. Very stubborn creatures hunting packs. Okay, so it could be a pack animal, right. Before you can utter a word, the monster charges you, and out of the shadow, Morwen leaps at it, tackling it aside and cutting its hide with her bone axe in a follow-up swing. You breathe out, realizing that she has probably just saved your life. Yavek runs up to you just as the creature backs off and lets out a long howl. There's more of these accursed things, boss. Must have sneaked past the perimeter guards. We didn't put any guards out. They're trying to chase them off, he blurts out. As he does, you can hear yelling and other sounds of battle around the camp. The wounded Yakra is joined by another one from behind the cargo pile, and two of them start circling you. Yavek steps beside Morwenna as they get ready to fight. Time for some action, and this would probably be the last bit of this. Oh no. There we go. Oh, we don't actually fight. We only send our troops in. Ah, okay. Companion combat is turn-based, where 1 to 6 enemies fight against your team of 1 to 6 companions. You can use skills of your companions to defeat your enemies and protect your companions, and set yourself up in an advantageous position on combat board. Companion combat is made up of rounds. Each round, all the participants take turns to act. When everyone has taken their turn, the current round ends. New round is started. This goes on until either your companions or enemies are defeated. Combat board is divided into 2 sides. Friendly side left, companions on yada yada yada. Click to begin the fight. Order to which combatants receive their turns according to initiative. At the beginning of each round, all combatants add 1 to 6 random to their initiative to determine what order they will progress through the round, starting with the highest initiative. Initiative order is to the left. Okay, so Beast, Morwenna, Yavek. Beast. Right, we've been mauled. Right. Vitality 8, Power 12. Vitality 12, Power 8. Okay. Melee skills can be used from the front row. They can only be target front row enemies that are adjacent to the attacker's position, or the back row enemies if no front row is. Okay. So you're basically saying we need to move up 1. All characters can move to an adjacent position on their own side. They moved into a position that is occupied by another character. The character is pushed out of the position. Not only do characters in the front row prevent melee attacks against characters directly behind them, you can also make them more difficult to hit with certain range skills. Okay, well, we're going to protect Yavek. Do I drag you? Spacebar? I guess I have to hit the move button. There you go. Each companion has 4 combat skills. So you know what this grid layout and things like that is reminding me of? Is Dead in Vinland. I mean, I know we can have up to 6, but like if we have 3 people versus whatever's on the other side, it's definitely got that Dead in Vinland vibe. Each companion has 4 combat skills besides move, represented by the row icon. Select skills, yada yada yada. Right. Let's use some mind blasting capabilities. I feel like there needs to be a click the opponent, and then click the initiate maneuver, because I don't know whether I'm doing it or not. Morwenna's skills include options to push front row enemies back, savage kick, or pull back row enemies forward with whiplash. Some skills are more complex than others. Well, we are just going to kick this beastie in the face, aren't we? And apparently we do 0 damage. We just booted him. Okay. Well, he moved. Can I hit him with mind damage? Hypnosis range. Single target moves to where you command it. Okay, well, putting an enemy in front of an enemy might slow the other dude down. Defeat their enemies, hold space, yeah. This will drain our power. So there definitely needs to be an audible click to assign the sound, I feel. Devastating blow. Strafe. Hit 2 adjacent enemies in the same row. Move to the side. In the same row, so not the same column. Let's devastate this fool. I guess we could probably kill this dude. Damage is 2 to 5. We might be able to bring the axe down on him. And do minimal damage. Let's pop a little mind blast on this fella. 3 to 4. Okay, minimal damage will kill him. We made his head go pop. Caster and a single ally receive initiative, defense, and bonus. Let's give Morwenna a bit of a buff, and Morwenna is going to bring the axe down on this fella. That's with a buff? Can I gain back like power by not doing anything? What happens when we run all out of power? Definitely needs to be a mechanic where you can rest for a turn to gain back power. Block that, and we finish this guy off. Let's finish him off with an axe. Two Jark here lie dead at your feet. Morwenna wipes the foul-smelling blood from her axe blade as the guard arrives and talks to her. You okay, boss? Yavek pats you on the shoulder. You nod, turning to Morwenna as she approaches you. All hostiles are taken care of, she says. They got some of the food, but we could take their meat and other parts to make up for it. Harvest those damned critters before going back to bed. Perhaps we'll gain something from this in the end. Ivory supplies and beast hides. Lovely. Right. Morale is getting a little low. So we need to do something to boost morale. But we're vigorous now. Your chart is now available. Opening it by clicking on the chart in the top right. Eventually. Chart is your tool to navigate the wastelands of Zyrn and planning out your journeys. You can move along by holding left mouse button, moving the mouse, or you can zoom in with the wheel. Any discovered settlements or points of interest can be marked by clicking on the icon. Mark Vernum. 4 to 6 days travel, and we have at most 6 days worth of food left, but we could go via the wound. That said, it is 10 to 7. Let's see if we have another event.
What is best in life?
Hey, Athalius!
Crush your enemies.
You show up just as we're about to, like, more or less finish off. Do I get a bonus for, like, ending with 3 days? Dwarven Compass is actually helping. Okay, well, screw it. Let's just go the maximum distance we can and then camp out. Forced March will allow you to move further than your maximum movement points in a given day. Forced March movement uses marching MPs indicated by next... Ah, okay, so we could get another 7 movement. We have the supplies for it. We strongly suggest refraining from frequent forced marches until you have some more experience. High vigor, morale, and other well-supplied comitatus are required for forced marches as well, to have less negative impact. Right, so he's saying we could force the march, but we're not going to. We're going to camp out. We are definitely going to heal up, because they're both dinged up. We will post a guard. Toggle medals. So yeah, there's better than... so 60% odds we actually heal up. It looks like. I think that's how it works. Our supplies are pretty good. We will post a guard for the night. No foraging. Yavek got a +1 vitality. You just woke up. How are you doing anyway? How was yesterday? Because I can't really say how's your Wednesday going because you've just gone up. So. Right. But yeah, that seems like an obvious place to end it, because it is like 5 to 7. I need food. I have no liquid sustenance remaining, so doing any more voices and reading any more text is probably going to wreck me. So we will, presumably, we can save game? Yeah, sure. Manual saving is unavailable at some... Yes, but we just camped, so we should be fine. So, can I just exit to main? Molten Tongue. Yeah, it looks like... Yeah. We shall call it there. I actually really enjoyed that. Not least because I got to read dialogue in like a Dungeon Master voice, I feel like. But yes, that was Vagrus. There's still a few things. I mean, like the combat, it definitely feels like there needs to be like more it feels it needs to be a bit more robust with certainly like clicking a skill and then clicking the enemy. There should be just a big confirm button or an actually meaty sound of like you're clicking this. There's just no, without the sound effects and things like that, it just feels like, okay, did I do the thing? I don't know. You just feel unsure what you've done. There was like one or two very minor typos with the text we saw, but for it being early access, we didn't really notice anything major. And I mean, we were just in like the tutorial bit, but still, I actually really like that. It reminded me stuff like Banner Saga, Dead in Vinland, that kind of idea, and I'm a sucker for those type of games. So yes, this might be one I might dip into a little more. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and you want to see more stuff like that, do let me know. And of course, you can reach out to us on the socials. I should put the Discord link in there. Like so. Go over to the Discord, join us there, say hello, share the love. And if you're not already following us, the follow button is, well, I guess it's right above me somewhere. I'm going to chuck a